Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, onto the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail, hail. The news that's been buzzing around Scottish football circles like wildfire has finally erupted with Joe Hart himself stepping into the spotlight, and it's nothing short of explosive. Following his recent retirement, Hart didn't hold back, unleashing a storm of words aimed squarely at Celtic, a club that once held promise for him in the eyes of fans and pundits alike. He described his exit in terms that have stunned even the most seasoned observers, claiming he was discarded like any other, and hinting at an underlying lack of respect from the club's hierarchy. The football community is still trying to digest the bluntness of his remarks, as Joe Hart is not typically a player known for public controversy, especially after stepping away from the game. Rumors have been swirling for months about friction behind the scenes, with whispers of disagreements over training methods, playing time, and even contract negotiations, yet hearing it from Hart directly adds a whole new dimension. Supporters are split, some defending Celtic's decisions as part of the harsh realities of professional football, while others feel a sense of injustice that a player of Hart's caliber would feel undervalued in such a storied club. The timing of his statements, right after retirement, only fuels speculation that perhaps there's more to the story than meets the eye. This revelation has set social media ablaze, with fans dissecting every syllable of Hart's scathing comments and debating the implications for both him and Celtic. On Twitter and football forums, there's a mixture of shock, support, and outright disbelief as people try to reconcile the image of Joe Hart as a respected goalkeeper with the narrative of being treated like an afterthought. Pundits are quick to speculate that Hart's public critique could have wider consequences, potentially influencing how players perceive the club's culture and treatment of talent, especially foreign signings. Some suggest that this could open the door to former players coming forward with similar experiences, sparking a chain reaction of insider revelations. Meanwhile, Celtic's camp has been noticeably silent, which in itself is stirring further speculation, as silence often speaks louder than words in the world of football controversies. The story now has layers, with discussions about loyalty, club politics, and the often harsh realities of football careers dominating every conversation. Hart's use of the phrase, discarded like any other, resonates deeply, implying a systemic issue rather than an isolated incident. Fans and analysts alike are scrutinizing past matches, training sessions, and media interviews for clues about what exactly may have led to this perceived dismissal, creating a whirlwind of theories and conjecture that refuses to settle. Insiders suggest that the tension between Hart and Celtic may have roots stretching back several seasons, possibly linked to managerial changes and shifts in club strategy, as football teams often evolve in ways that clash with established players' expectations. Reports hint at disagreements over Hart's role in the squad, with some suggesting that he felt increasingly marginalized and undervalued despite his international experience and past accolades. The whispers of friction, once dismissed as mere speculation, now gain credibility in light of his forthright comments, giving the football world a reason to reevaluate the narrative around his final years in professional football. Fans are poring over every detail, from subtle gestures on the pitch to interviews where Hart's frustration may have been barely perceptible, connecting dots that might reveal a broader story of discontent. The notion that a player of Hart's stature could feel discarded challenges conventional assumptions about loyalty, respect, and recognition in elite football environments. Moreover, this revelation sparks questions about player welfare, how clubs communicate decisions, and the psychological impact of feeling sidelined. As the media cycles churn, every phrase Hart uttered is examined for hidden meanings, every pause dissected, every implication debated, generating an ongoing saga that shows no signs of slowing down. Rumors have now shifted from simply recounting Hart's feelings to speculating on the potential fallout for Celtic as a club, as well as the wider Scottish Premiership. Analysts suggest that public statements like these could affect recruitment, with future signings questioning how the club treats veteran players or those seeking to re-establish themselves after a move. The conversation has morphed into a broader commentary on professionalism, respect, and the fine balance between club needs and individual aspirations. Meanwhile, former teammates and managers are being gently nudged by journalists for their take, though many remain tight-lipped, wary of igniting further controversy or breaching personal loyalty. Yet, the mere presence of such high-profile scrutiny ensures that Celtic's public image is being subtly reshaped, as fans debate whether Hart's experience is an anomaly or a reflection of deeper institutional tendencies. The intrigue is heightened by the timing of his comments, coming immediately post-retirement, which fuels suspicions that Hart intended to make his final word in the football world memorable, commanding attention and perhaps seeking vindication. Social media communities are thriving on this drama, creating memes, polls, and endless threads, turning what might have been a quiet retirement announcement into a headline-making controversy. The narrative now teeters between gossip and legitimate grievance, a blend that keeps everyone talking. Football forums have begun to unravel intricate theories about the nature of Hart's treatment at Celtic, dissecting everything from tactical decisions to off-field interactions with staff and management. The depth of discussion is striking, with armchair analysts drawing on historical patterns, similar incidents in other clubs, and even international precedents to understand the context. Hart's direct language, referring to being discarded, invites not only speculation about his personal treatment, but also criticism of organizational culture within professional football. Discussions have even reached psychological interpretations, pondering the emotional toll of feeling expendable and the courage it takes to speak out publicly. The football community is simultaneously captivated and divided, as supporters weigh the credibility of his claims against the prestige and history of the club itself. Journalists are eager to secure further comments. Agents are weighing the impact on player perception, and fans continue dissecting every nuance, creating a dynamic environment where the rumor rapidly evolves into a multi-layered story. What was initially a quiet retirement is now a story of personal grievance, professional respect, and institutional reflection, illustrating how one player's voice can ignite widespread conversation. Even beyond Scotland, the story is garnering attention in England and across Europe, particularly because Joe Hart is an established figure in football, having experienced top-flight leagues and international tournaments. Media outlets are juxtaposing his career highs with the perceived lows at Celtic, creating a dramatic contrast that fuels both sympathy and controversy. International fans unfamiliar with Scottish football are drawn in by Hart's candidness, his reputation lending weight to his statements, transforming the narrative from a local curiosity into a discussion with continental reach. This international dimension amplifies speculation, as pundits compare Hart's experience with other high-profile cases, debating whether Celtic's handling of him was an exception or indicative of a broader trend in player management. Forums and fan pages in multiple countries dissect every word, considering cultural differences, managerial styles, and even media portrayals in Scotland, building a rich tapestry of opinion that extends far beyond the club itself. Analysts predict this story will linger, shaping perceptions of player treatment, loyalty, and career trajectory discussions for months, possibly influencing future contractual negotiations and player relations. The rumor mill, now turbocharged by Hart's vocal critique, continues to churn, making this retirement announcement a pivotal moment not just for Celtic, but for football discourse at large. The ripple effects of Joe Hart's statements continue to reverberate through Scottish football, creating an atmosphere thick with speculation, debate, and intrigue as pundits and fans alike try to untangle the layers behind his scathing critique. Questions are being raised about whether Celtic's treatment of Hart reflects broader structural issues within the club, from managerial decision-making to player communication protocols, sparking conversations that stretch well beyond the pitch. Social media is saturated with analyses of past matches, focusing on moments where Hart may have been subtly sidelined or overlooked, as supporters attempt to reconstruct a timeline that justifies or refutes his claims. Rumors suggest that there were internal disagreements over playing style, squad hierarchy, and the role of veteran players, creating friction that ultimately culminated in Hart feeling discarded like any other. The narrative has become almost mythic in its scope, portraying a seasoned professional confronting institutional indifference, a storyline that resonates with fans who feel passionately about loyalty and respect in football. Analysts speculate that Hart's bluntness could encourage other former players to voice their own experiences, potentially uncovering patterns that challenge accepted wisdom about how clubs manage talent. This ongoing saga has shifted attention from matches and trophies to the very culture of football itself, turning Hart's retirement into a catalyst for wider reflection and debate. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Behind the closed doors of Celtic's management, speculation runs rampant about how to respond to Hart's damning remarks without escalating the situation further, as any misstep could ignite fresh waves of criticism from media and fans. Insiders hint that there may have been attempts to reconcile differences privately, but Hart's decision to speak publicly has complicated these efforts, forcing the club into a reactive posture rather than a proactive one. Journalists are keenly observing every official statement, searching for nuances in wording that might hint at regret, defense, or acknowledgement of his claims. Meanwhile, fan forums are teeming with theories that link Hart's experience to managerial philosophies, recruitment policies, and even cultural biases in player treatment, generating a rich tapestry of conjecture. The intensity of discussion underscores how a single, unfiltered statement from a prominent figure can transform into a nationwide talking point, blending gossip, professional critique, and emotional resonance. Hart's candid language has emboldened fans to question not only Celtic's decisions, but also broader footballing norms regarding respect for players' contributions, career trajectories, and the human element often overshadowed by results. Every tweet, post, and commentary now carries the weight of speculation, making this retirement revelation more than a personal grievance. It has become a lens through which the football community examines itself, sparking debates that are unlikely to subside anytime soon. Rumors surrounding Hart's post-retirement revelations are also fueling speculation about possible future moves in media or punditry, as his willingness to speak out positions him as a voice unafraid to challenge authority. Many believe that Hart could leverage this newfound visibility to build a role where candid opinions and insider perspectives are highly valued, potentially shifting his public persona from player to commentator. There's even chatter about how clubs might adjust their approach to former players, considering the reputational risk of perceived mismanagement or neglect. Fans debate whether Hart's criticism is fair or exaggerated, yet most agree that the timing, intensity, and phrasing suggest deep personal conviction rather than mere opportunism. Analysts also point to the psychological dimension, noting that public airing of grievances can serve both as a cathartic release and as a way to assert narrative control over one's career legacy. The broader football ecosystem is watching closely, as Hart's statements may influence how players negotiate contracts, communicate dissatisfaction, or evaluate prospective clubs. The story has shifted from a simple retirement announcement to a multi-layered discussion involving respect, recognition, and the subtle, often unseen politics of professional football. Every mention of Hart now reverberates with past performance, perceived slights, and the larger implications for club culture, turning a personal statement into a collective conversation. In football circles, speculation intensifies as former teammates, coaches, and insiders are quietly approached for their perspectives, though many tread carefully to avoid reigniting controversy. The subtle hints and unverified accounts only add fuel to the fire, as observers attempt to piece together a mosaic of truths and interpretations that illuminate Hart's experience at Celtic. Some argue that his remarks may expose systemic issues in the way elite clubs manage senior players, while others contend that the reality of professional sport is inherently unforgiving, with personal feelings of neglect being an unfortunate but inevitable side effect. Media outlets are dissecting Hart's language, emphasizing the phrase discarded like any other to frame a narrative that is as much about emotion and principle as it is about facts. Fan reactions continue to oscillate between outrage, empathy, and critical analysis, demonstrating the complex interplay between loyalty, performance, and perceived respect in the world of football. Hart's candid reflections have also spurred conversations about leadership, mentorship, and the moral obligations clubs have to players who have given years of service. As speculation grows, it becomes increasingly clear that the Hart Celtic saga transcends one individual, serving as a mirror for the wider footballing community to reflect on ethics, recognition, and the human dimension that often lies beneath the glamour and pressure of elite sport. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.